Welcome to the Cornell Lab of Ornithology's tutorial for using eBird Trail Tracker. Now, as you know, eBird Trail Tracker is an interactive tool and exhibit to help prepare your visitors for birding at your site. It includes two main functions. It displays the latest bird observations from the site, as well as photos, sounds, and life history information for all the birds that could be seen there. And secondly, it allows your visitors to enter their own observations and position their observations on a map to help guide later users. Now, a typical user scenario would be that I have arrived at the visitor center and I'm interested to know what bird species I might find here. So I head over to the eBird Trail Tracker. Now, the eBird Trail Tracker at rest will either be a listing of birds, the All Sightings page, or if you happen to have your customized home page, it might look like this. Now, to get from the home page back to the eBird Trail Tracker, you simply go down and click or touch. This is a touchscreen enabled application. And then you move to a location choice. You simply click on or touch the location of interest, and we will go back to the listing of all the birds that have been seen. Now, it may take a few moments to compile the list as it goes back into the eBird database to pull this information. Now, once we get the All Sightings screen, there are a couple options for us to do here. First of all, you'll note that at the top of the list are birds considered rarities. That could be either with numbers or at the time of season. Below that, we have specialties. These are birds that we've pre-designated as being of interest to a large number of people. So we want to highlight these species so that you see those right away. The screen automatically defaults to the last week. And if you look down toward the bottom of the screen, you'll notice that there are a choice of today, past 2 days, past week, or past month. And again, this defaults to the past week. But maybe we would like something a little more recent. So by the past 2 days, you'll see that the list does change a bit and focuses on the birds, obviously, that have been seen the past 2 days. Also, please note that this screen defaults to a predetermined eBird hotspot location, in this case defined as the Montezuma Wetlands Complex. However, there could be other eBird hotspot locations set up for specific sections of the wetlands complex, or in some cases there may be nearby parks or refuges. So we might want to press the All Locations button at the bottom of the screen to see what has been seen regionally. And again, it'll go through the process and pull up observations from other areas. And you'll notice that now we include not only the Montezuma Wetlands Complex, but the auto loop. So I see the various species that have been seen, and I'd sort of like to know, well, where in the complex have they been seen? By moving to the top right-hand corner of the screen, we'll notice the Map All button. By touching or clicking that, we have a list of birds that have been mapped, as well as the map itself. Well, I'm sort of interested in a raptor, so let's see where the bald eagle has been seen. I go down the list and I see, oh, there's the osprey and the red-tailed hawk. So it looks like if I want to see raptors at this site, I should probably go down near where the visitor center is. Now, to get back to the All Sightings screen, there's a button on the lower left-hand side that you touch or press. But as I go through the list, I might see a bird I'm not that familiar with. In this case, let's look at the northern harrier. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. So by pressing the camera icon to the left of the species, it then pulls up a photo of the species. In this case, there are several different photos that I can review. But maybe I might also be interested in the sound. By moving up, I notice that there's a speaker icon that I can click. And then by touching the triangle, I will get the sound. Now, in some cases, there will be videos, which we'd click here. But I might be more interested in getting some of the life history of the bird. By moving over and clicking the eye icon, I bring in cool facts, some descriptive information, as well as some range and breeding information. So now I'm well prepared. I know what the bird looks like. I know what it sounds like. Now where am I going to see it? Well, by going up to the binocular icon, I can see that it was seen on the 24th, and again, it was seen near the visitor center. So at this point, I am in pretty good shape of where I want to go. But let's say there's a particular bird that I might be interested in that I didn't see on that list. Again, I would go to the lower left-hand corner, click on the back button, and I still don't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the Find Species button in the right-hand corner. And the bird I'm interested in is a blue-winged teal. I begin to type it in, and I begin to see it on the list of the drop-down. I click or touch that, and I see, yes, it has been seen here. 4 different dates. And if I move to the right-hand side and click and touch the map button, I can see that it's also been seen at the visitor center. So I'm in real good shape. I can see the hawks, and I can see the teal at the visitor center. So at this point, I'm ready to go out and do some birding. So after I bird, I'd like to come back to the visitor center and enter what I've seen. To enter sightings at the top right-hand corner of the screen, I simply click or hit the Enter Sightings tab, and it brings me to some questions. Now, as in eBird, these are preliminary questions regarding date, time, and observation effort. But here, I'm also asked for an email address. And there's 2 reasons why we encourage the user to enter their email address. First of all, if there are any questions regarding the observations, the regional eBird reviewer can then follow up directly with the observer to confirm the observation. But secondly, if desired, the observer can receive an email summary of the observations. So what we can do is simply put in our email address. And this then becomes a nice record that I can have to refer to when I get back home. Then I go simply to confirming the date. And then this question whether I've entering all the species I saw. In this case, that's a no. Then to move to the next page in the lower right-hand corner, you'll notice a Continue button. Click or hit that, and we get the questions regarding the time and the effort. Now, by clicking that, you'll get the drop-down, and obviously it's much faster. Simply click it and move forward to the OK. The duration of the time I spent birding, I didn't bird very long, so we'll put 15 there. And then the group size. So at this point, we've answered all the questions, and we're ready to report the species. So we go to the lower right-hand corner, and we click Continue to Report Species. And then we see a screen that was similar to what we saw earlier when we're looking for information about the blue-winged teal. We can begin to enter the birds we saw. And as it appears in the drop-down, you simply touch or click the species when. Next opportunity for us is to put how many we saw. In this case, we're going to say we saw 3 osprey. I click OK. And then it returns back to the screen where we can enter additional species. And we just simply repeat the process. Now what happens if we see a lot of something? In this case, we're going to see green-winged teal. We saw a nice flock of those. But instead of going through the plus button to get the appropriate number, put the cursor into the box, and then you can type in the exact number you saw. Again, clicking OK, and we're back to the screen where we can enter additional species. In this case, that's all we're going to put in because, again, we weren't there very long. And so to move forward, we move to the lower right-hand corner of the screen to hit Continue to Confirmation. Now, in this page, it lists every bird that we entered, but it also gives you the opportunity to receive that email. So by clicking the box, I'll get an email summary of the species we've entered. So everything looks good from this end. Again, the time, the duration. Looks good, so we're going to go and submit the observations. And there's a button in the lower right-hand corner, Submit Sightings. Now at this point, we have the option of moving forward and mapping the observations. All we need to do is highlight and touch the species we'd like to map, and then we get a pop-up that explains how to position the observations. So again, it's either a touch or a click, and we can position the observations of where we saw the bird. In this case, we had 3 that we saw, so we can put 3 dots in. As it turns out, the most that you can map for any one species is 3, regardless of how many you've seen. Once we position the observations, and note, you can move them around after you position them. So after everything is correct, we go back to the green box and click on Done. Then we go back to the green-winged teal and repeat the process. In this case, we saw the teal down here. Again, clicking Done. At this point, we've entered our observations and we've mapped them. We're all set. So at the lower right-hand corner, we click on I'm finished mapping, and the map observations are now part of the database. We get the thank you screen, and then we move back automatically to the all sighting screen, and what we've just entered is now in the system. Now for those locations that have the customized home page, from here, to get back to the home page, you would click on the top left-hand corner, the home icon. At this point, we're back to the customized home page. Now, there are and will be different options for each location, but for this location, we can view the eBird homepage, or we can learn some more about the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. And like any website, you can move through it. So that quickly summarizes eBird Trail Tracker and what it can do for you. We thank you for your time and interest in reviewing this tutorial, and I hope that you found the video helpful. If you have any further questions, please let us know.